Today's adventure begins right here at the Intercoastal Waterway here in Carolina Beach area. Right there is the north end of Carolina Beach we're looking at. You can see the homes over there as boats are out there, and the fish are quite active this morning. This little guy's, look at him jumping. I hope these guys they might catch some of these things. The fish are really jumping this morning. Right over here is Myrtle Grove Sound. And this right here, this body of water is part of the Intercoastal Waterway. It's also known as Snow's Cut officially. And that is Snow's Cut Bridge, which gives you passage over to Pleasure Island, which is where you will find Carolina Beach, Curie Beach, Fort Fisher, etc. We'll kind of get into the history of this little man-made sliver of water today. Very interesting. Thought it'd make a kind of a fascinating video for some of you people who come down here. Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Cheers. Have my cup of coffee this morning. Oh man, that is so delicious. Really looking forward to this vlog to kind of hang out and look at some stuff. We're going to talk about Snow's Cut, talk about why they call it Snow's Cut, kind of why they made it, also why they built this little sliver of water right here to connect Myrtle Grove to the Cape Fear River. Yeah, should be a good little day. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take you down behind the old Food Line building to where the old swing bridge used to connect. And then we're just going to go from there. Got some cool stuff to look at. We will be on both sides of this water today, so because there is an old abandoned park called Snow's Cut Park that's been shut down for many years also, and it used to be a hot spot for me to go fishing. Really great place to go flounder fishing back in the day. We used to catch some doormats down there, as they like to call them. But anywho, that was then, this is now. Let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for hanging out with me. All right, so now I have made my way over here to the western side of Snow's Cut Bridge. As we peer off to the west down Snow's Cut, you can actually see where it connects to the Cape Fear River. So Snow's Cut is a crucial man-made channel here in the Atlantic Intercoastal Waterway. It was created between the years of 1929 and 1931, officially turning the southern tip of Federal Point into an island, which today we call Pleasure Island, which is the home of Carolina Beach, Curie Beach, and Fort Fisher. Snow's Cut is actually named after Major William Arthur Snow, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineer District Engineer who overseen the construction of Snow's Cut, which actually connects the Cape Fear River to Myrtle Grove Sound. So the reasoning for the Army Corps of Engineers to actually develop Snow's Cut was to give ships passage to the Atlantic Ocean much easier. Because you got to remember, back in that time period, Wilmington was still a port city, so you had a lot of traffic that would travel up the Cape Fear River to Wilmington for supplies and stuff. That dates back all the way into the Civil War times. But the thing is when you go down the Cape Fear River, go past Southport, between Ballhead Island and Oak Island now, the lighthouse down there, when you go out that way, that body of water of the Atlantic Ocean is very treacherous, it's very shallow, and it's very it's hard to navigate, especially back in that time before you had all the fancy equipment you have today. But that is actually, that body of water has an area beneath the water called Frying Pan Shoals, which is just like a bunch of sandbars and underwater hazards and stuff. And there was a lot of shipwrecks that happened there. So when they developed Snow's Cut, it's like you could come down the Cape Fear River from Wilmington, like right here, and you can just make it right through this cut and pour out over here into Myrtle Grove Sound, take a left and go up, and then you could go between Masonboro Island and the northern tip of Carolina Beach and make it out into the Atlantic Ocean. Much safer than traversing through, the treacherous Frying Pan Shoals area. Now, the Frying Pan Shoals area extends out quite a way, because I know the Frying Shoals lighthouse is about 30 miles off the tip of Ballhead Island, give or take. And I have been there one time back in the 90s. My dad and a friend of his who had a boat, they actually took us fishing one day, as a bug is after me, They actually took us fishing one day, and he took us all the way out there to Frying Pan Shoals, and he just kind of dropped anchor right there, and we just hung out and we fished throughout that day. And there was fish everywhere. There was like barracuda out there, shark, there was lobsters galore. There was people out there like divers. They was going down just picking up big old lobsters right out of the Atlantic Ocean. It was one of the coolest things I ever seen. But they was telling us, you know, he was giving me a little history about the lighthouse that was out there at the time. And today the lighthouse is still out there. And I know maybe 10 or 15 years ago, somebody actually bought it and turned it into a bed and breakfast. I don't know if that's still a thing or not, but that was a very interesting idea. And but I think it's still, you can still go out there to it today. It's still there. I don't know what they're doing with that old lighthouse, and I don't know why I went down that rabbit hole, but I always thought it would be fun to go out there and stay a weekend and make a vlog about it, you know, because there's nothing. I mean, you're 30 miles out in the ocean. It's just, you can just see just the curvature of the earth out there pretty much. So there ain't a whole lot out there. So I thought that would be a lot of fun. All that being said, that's why they built Snow's Cut back in the day. And now I'm going to take you over to the mainland side and show you the old abandoned Snow's Cut Park and the old abandoned Carolina Beach Campground that wasn't technically, I don't think, at Carolina Beach, because that is not part of Carolina Beach city limits over there. But that's where the Carolina Beach Campground is at that time. So let's go ahead and head over across the bridge and check everything out. All right, and before I leave, I do want to show you this right here. This is called Snow's Cut Trail. This is the Island Greenway system, and this is just a walking path that kind of snakes along Snow's Cut. When we was just shooting the video, I was actually down this trailway. This right here would take you right to where I was standing, and this here is an old road that the old swing bridge used to connect to back in the day. So the road is still here. People come down here and park. Free parking down here, by the way, even though it is Carolina Beach. And at least for now, at the time of this recording here in 2025, it is. But this here is like a trail that you can walk to where we started our video. Down there at the boat ramp, you can actually make your way up this trail. And it keeps going because you can actually, right here in these woods, this thicket right here on the other side of this pole, you can continue walking the trail. So just want to give you that little heads up. I wouldn't suggest do it in the summertime because, man, the bugs can be kind of a pain. You better spray down with a lot of off if you want to come down here and walk around much, because they're already starting to move right now while I'm down here. All right, now I've made my way across Snow's Cut Bridge over here to River Road, because I wanted to show you this. This here's the old Carolina Beach family campground area, established in 1963. Been closed for many years now, but some of the signs are still here. It's very buggy over here at times, as you can imagine. This here used to be the camping area all back through here. This here was the entrance. Look at that old sign up there. That is wild that that thing is still here all these years later. I think this campground's been shut down for quite a while. But they used to be folks right out there camping, enjoying themselves, doing a little grilling. And then you could camp here and just walk. They still have like a RV park right there. You can see some of the RVs, the tops of them right there. That's still there. But the actual other campground area has been shut down for quite some time for whatever reason, I don't know. But yeah, people used to camp here and then go cross River Road, make their way to the other side of the street, and then you would be at Snow's Cut. And they had a park there called Snow's Cut Park. They'd go down there and do a spot of fishing and enjoying themselves a little bit. Just have a nice little you know, intercoastal waterway beach day, if you will. Some people, not everybody likes the roughness of the ocean, so they would go down there and make a day of it and have a good time. So let's go on down to Snow's Cut and check it out. All right, so I made my way a little bit further down. This is where the road back in the day used to extend across to Pleasure Island. As you can see, it's, you know, it's blocked now because, you know, there's no bridge there, but this is where it used to connect. You used to drive right down through here and drive that swing bridge across. And back in the day when me and my wife were into geocaching, I just went along. I thought it was a little interesting. There was actually a geocache that we found right over here one day, which was pretty awesome. So now I'm just gonna walk down this trail and kind of show you the area I used to come and do a little fishing back in the day. which this is all closed now. Really don't supposed to drive vehicles or do anything. People still come down here a little bit, but this didn't used to be all grown up like this. And it's cool because it's right here beneath the bridge. So, you know, you could bring your car down here, park, get you a little shade underneath Snow's-Cut Bridge. This used to be a pretty cool hangout for folks to come down and maybe bring some food. This was like a little grassy area back then, but man, now it's all grown up. It did not take long. This has only been closed probably the last 7 or 8 years. I don't think quite a decade, but used to come down here and hang out. It used to a lot of it be this type of grass. It wasn't like lush green grass, but it wasn't weedy neither, you know. But yeah, this is the location where people would come down and get along this bank right here, get on these rocks, do some fishing, especially if you could cast out. See where this boat is right over here? See where he's kind of tied off to those pylons? He might catch him a sheephead or two right there. And that's what I used to fish for him when I'd come down here with some fiddler crabs. Never had a whole lot of luck, but some people were just better fishermen than me, than I was. And if we look across the way here, that's where we were just moments ago. Right over there, you can see the old stanchion sticking up where the swing bridge used to extend across. And matter of fact, this boat is still there that I showed you earlier. Oh, he might have one. He pulled hard right there. He might have him a good little fish right there. Oh yeah, he's got something. He's got a little something. But yeah, this is actually where the bridge connected across, and then you would just drive straight toward Wilmington, all back through the 1930s, 40s, and 50s until in 1962 when this was finally completed. What we have today, Snow's-Cut Bridge. Man, you don't realize just how tall that thing is until you get down here and you look up. All right, let's continue on. All right, now I'm making my way down through here. This here is Snow's-Cut Park. A little bumpy. I'm on my scooter right now, so yeah. We'll come right here and maybe just park for a minute. So right here is the old entrance to Snow's-Cut Park. This gate's been closed for many, many years now. They really don't want people driving back through here, but as you can see, there is, I don't know if you can tell or not, but down there, I'm not going to show who that is, but there is somebody who's got a pickup truck down there parked, and they're going to do a spot of fishing. And yeah, he found a way in here. So there is still ways you can get into Snow's-Cut Park right here off of River Road. And I got in here because I'm just on a scooter today, so I don't need much room to kind of hang out. But this was a very popular little location back in the day for folks who wanted to do a little bit of fishing and get into some shade, even though it's not shaded right here where I'm at. But as you can see, there's a lot of trees, a lot of coverage. Used to be a great place to go picnicking, do a little grilling, and just have a little family time, or hang out with your buddies or girlfriends or whatever. All right, so I did a quick Google search, and Snow's-Cut Park actually closed June 30th of 2021. And there is still quite a bit of people that do frequent down here, I'm noticing. Look at some of this stuff. That's like marble. Check that out. Home decor drop-off spot. This is why people can't have nice things. I mean, this place is closed, but as you can see, there's little places you can sneak in here with your vehicles. Kind of hang out. Kind of want to make my way down here because when I used to come down here and go fishing, this was the entrance or the opening in the fence that I used to use to make it down to the water. Now this fence right here that I'm talking about was not always here. If you was here, you know, in the 2000s and even probably 2012, 13, 14, somewhere in there, that fence was not there. You know, before they closed the park, they wanted to stop people from more or less being down here and like on the riverbanks. The reason they wanted to do that, because at one time they had steps that led down to the water. Erosion issue here in Snow's-Cut started becoming a very like a safety issue with like the walls of the embankment kind of giving way, having little avalanches and stuff. They didn't want people to get hurt, which is completely understandable. All right, so right here is the opening in the fence that I was referring to. Have this cement pad right here. As you can tell, somebody at some point in time had them a campfire out here. So I'm just gonna walk a little bit to the left to show you around out here. As the heat, the sun is really bringing the temperature up today. My goodness, that happened quick. When we started the vlog off, it wasn't too bad, but now that I'm out here, it's a whole nother story. As we look at these banks, I don't want to get too close, but as you can see, let me see if I can kind of stick you out over the edge a little bit where you can see down just how high up we are. But the erosion that happens along this beach is why they closed this park down, because I was having issues with like landslides and stuff, little small ones, but it's still enough to get people hurt. A lot of people come down here, don't know, like don't stand on the very edge, you know, always kind of, you know, maybe stand back several feet from the edge. But that's why they ended up shutting Snow's Cut Park down, supposedly. I've heard all kinds of rumors over the years why they actually closed it. That was one of them. I heard somebody else say one time that they thought that they was going to try to develop this area with some kind of condominiums or townhouses and waterfront stuff, you know, because the land is valuable or whatnot. But really and truthfully, there's not a ton of room between the edge and River Road. I mean, there's enough room, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if there's any fact to that. I've never seen anything, no development company, but I have heard that murmured a handful of times because of the buildup of Carolina Beach has been just unbelievable over the years. How many people live over there, how many structures are being built over there, the townhomes, just everything that's going on over there is really going to bring the crowd levels up. As far as even for locals, if you think about it, man, there is a lot of homes being built over there and places to live at CB. So there is still people that come down here anyway, even though the park's closed. There's still people that come down here and fish, at least in the morning hours. But I can remember back in the day, driving across Snow's Cut Bridge, looking over here, and this beach would be covered with people fishing all the way down through there. And check that out. Look at that, like big old buzzard. Look at that thing. Definitely some nature out here in this old park. My goodness, is he big. This old sign right here says it all on why they wanted to close down the park. Danger, unstable bank. Do not go past this point. New Hanover County Parks Department. As we walk down the line here, you can see this old, looks like an electrical pole of some type sticking up out of the ground. Wonder what that used to be. I don't remember. I mean, it's been so long ago now for me, I can't remember if they had lights down here at one time or not. I know one thing, it's still very peaceful down here. A lot of bird action, my goodness. I mean, these big old buzzards down here, I never realized how many of these things are down here in this area. They're just all up in these trees, man. Every time I take a step and walk, there's a bunch of them moving. There's another one. There's two right there. Look at that. Holy crap. Are they stalking us? You're thinking, stalking us? No, Yeti, I'm not with you, my friend. You're on your own on this one. It's like Attack of the Birds. These daggone buzzards are everywhere. My gosh, look at them up there circling. Yeah, they're right over me. I'm not dead. Go away. All right, I made my way down here to the water's edge now. There's a man and woman. They've been doing a little bit of fishing today, possibly. Look at that guy out there, man. He's got his own little island. He's kind of wading in the water there, doing a little bit of fishing. And no, I did not climb down that massive bank. I actually walked down this little pathway. The further west you go in this park, the more shallow the bankment gets. So right here, it's only like a 4 foot, and it's a very easy walkway down to this broken rubble, which I'm under the impression this here's parts of the old swing bridge. It's kind of littered up, you know, down the beach here. That's the only thing I can think of, but I think that's very plausible, seeing what it looks like and everything. See the old Snow's-Cut Bridge off there in the distance, kind of give you an idea of where I'm at. And then if we pan to the right, and you look down the way here where we see all these boats, all that boat movement and stuff right there, off to this way is the Carolina Beach State Park. And then if you go right down there, that will take you up to Wilmington, the port city. Love that riverfront area. We need to go up there to the Riverwalk pretty soon, do a video. We ain't been up there in quite a while. All right, my friends, I think that will pretty much do it for me today here from Snow's-Cut Park, the abandoned Snow's-Cut Park. Hope you enjoyed today's vlog. I tried to give you a little bit of history about Snow's-Cut. I just thought, you know, some of you might want to know. Maybe some of you had no idea the history of this. I think some people think Pleasure Island is like always been an island, like Natural Island. It's not. It was made into an island. It was actually separated from the mainland. It was always called Federal Point. This area is known as Federal Point by a lot of locals and stuff. They go by Federal Point, but that's why it was a point, because it was not always an island. All right, that being said, I'm all done. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, friends, I am the Hitchhiking Yeti. Thank you so much. Really appreciate all you guys who watch, especially the ones who give me the big old thumbs up. Much appreciated. I love it. I love to see the thumbs ups. But I realize some people watch, they don't give the thumbs up. That's okay too, as long as you watch, right? That's the main thing. But when you give the thumbs up, it's just, you're just extra awesome. And I love that. Man, that's peaceful. Look at that. That's a postcard right there, practically, with that big old dead wood kind of extending out over the water there. Maybe not. In my mind it is though. It's really nice. Bonus footage. Looks like the gentleman caught him a fish. He sure did, man. He caught him a fish. Wonder what kind of fish he got. Boy, he was really fighting that thing, man. Right when I ended the video too is when it happened. He's taking it off. Maybe he'll hold it up for us, who knows. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Looks like a, if I was a guessing person, I would say that is a really nice sheep's head. Tell you, man, this was a great place to go fishing. Looks like it still pretty good. Got some sea doers out here. It's gonna be a beautiful day. Got the pontoon boat making a little wake, man. The guys on the Sea-Doo, they're having a good time with that, ain't they? Beach life, pretty cool, man, pretty cool. All right, I'm really done now. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you in the next video. That ends our adventure for today. Good way to end it.